Crossing now the Inderhavnsbroen, or the Inner Harbour Bridge, which was built in I think it was opened in 2000, let me just have a quick look, 2016, July 7, 2016 it was opened. It's 180 meters and it's a cycle and pedestrian bridge, and it connects Kongens Nytorv to Christianshavn East, and it's a nice bridge to come and walk down and just have a view. As you can see, the view down there is quite nice, and also on that side. So we're heading now to Kongens Nytorv, and then we're going to head off towards the Little Mermaid. It's really, really crowded. Look at all the people. Coming up to a bridge called Viewpoint Bridge, which is a nice place halfway down Kongens Nytorv Harbour to actually stop and take a picture if you want. You can see lots of people doing that. Not my favorite type of sightseeing, but it is a place in Copenhagen which you need to come and see. So I'm going to walk all the way down the harbour, the Kongens Nytorv Harbour, till I get towards the square at the end, and then I'm going to turn back around on the other side and walk up the other side of the harbour, or the canal. This is also, Kongens Nytorv is also where most of the tourist boats go for their canal trips. What I would recommend though, what I've heard, is that it gets really crowded here in summer, and that there are other places along the canals where you can catch these tour boats, which is less crowded, so maybe check those out. Now what I'm going to do is head down here, take a few photos of those houses, the famous ones, and then head on down that side to the Little Mermaid. Little fun fact for you about these houses: they're painted these different colors because when this area was built, it was built for the fishing industry, and as fishermen weren't particularly literate, the houses were painted different colors to allow them to know where to bring their catch or the stocks, etc. So they knew to bring it to the red house or the yellow house or the green house, etc. Okay, so we're at the end of the harbour now, and I'm going to head down that way. And I'm going to cross to the other side and then walk back up again. That, by the way, is the square. Actually, I'll take you over there just a second. That is the square I believe they call the King's Square in Kongens Nytorv. That's where in Christmas they have all the Christmas markets, or they have one Christmas market. Right, we're going to continue our tour now, and I'm going to be walking down that direction, up towards the end of Kongens Nytorv and the National Theatre, and then back round to opposite side of the opera and down to the Little Mermaid. All those restaurants we just passed back there in Kongens Nytorv, I've heard that they're not, and I've actually been to one previously, they're not really that great. I think in Copenhagen you get a much better choice of food and food options rather than coming to these. So unless you really want to sit by Kongens Nytorv and have something to eat, I wouldn't recommend coming to these food places to eat anything. It's just a little tip for you. If you're here for longer, I would suggest you do some research and find some better places. And I have a number of videos coming up which are going to give you some ideas of those places too. One thing that is pretty cool in Copenhagen is you get a lot of this free art stuff all over the place. And actually now, I think in Copenhagen it's the Copenhagen Light Festival, so this might be part of that actually. Right, so let's continue walking along here, and that's the National Theatre, and before that actually I might get some coffee from one of these street vendors. When it comes to Copenhagen street food, you can't miss out on these little trucks behind me here, which have coffee and lots of different types of coffee, and it's good. They're all over the city and they make some good coffee. You can grind the beans freshly and it's pretty good, so street food, there you go. The water bus actually comes every 20 or 30 minutes, but we're lucky today. It's just here, so I'm just going to show you what it's like. I'm not going to go on it because I prefer to walk today. but I'm gonna give you a little look-see. Here it comes. It's gonna dock. It's actually a good alternative to the canal tour if you don't want to spend that much on a canal tour. It takes you basically down this channel separating the north and the south part of Copenhagen, and it does give you a little bit of a view. It doesn't go down the small canals now. So we're heading over there, or on the other side of over there, and that's that over there. What you can see is the opera. We're going to walk on this side of the bridge. This is a favorite pastime in Copenhagen, is as you walk, jumping into the freezing canal and having a quick dip. We're just walking along the inner harbor now, and on that side of the harbor you can see the opera. It's facing, but there's building works on this side actually. It's facing a little square, and on the other side the buildings which are the palace of the royal family currently, the residences. Opera was actually built not by the Copenhagen city, but built by Mask, the owner of Mask, as a present, I believe, to the royal family. Hence why it's facing the royal residences. I don't know how well you can see it actually on this camera with the wide-angle lens, but I hope you can get a sense of it. As you're heading towards the Little Mermaid on this side, you can see like earth embankments. That's the Kastellet or the old fort. So we'll go through that on the way back, or on top of that on the way back, and see what's there as well. If you're here in spring, I've seen pictures of all of these trees with cherry blossoms on them, and I believe if you are here in spring, there's a sakura festival that takes place here as well. Looking at the number of people heading down this way, I get a sense that it's going to be pretty packed. This here is the Little Mermaid statue that everybody raves about. Truthfully, for me, I can't say it's that fantastic, but it does have connotations, of course, to Hans Christian Andersen. And if you read on the internet, there's some history, there's some interesting stuff that happened to this statue over the years, decapitations, paint, etc. Now, if you're coming here and you want to take a selfie with it, there's actually, I think, a big queue of people waiting. I'm here now at roughly 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's cold. It's a February, and it's pretty packed. You can probably see as well, if you do take one of those canal tours, it does come past here, and it kind of lingers a bit to give you enough time to take your photo opportunities, but you do see it from the back. The water here is crystal clear. I don't know whether you can see. It's crystal clear, really clean. If you have time, if you're here for a little bit longer and you have time, just around the corner from here, if you look on Google Maps, there's another statue called the genetically modified, I think it's the genetically modified Little Mermaid, and that's a kind of abstract modern art version of this. When it comes to Copenhagen street food, one thing that you do find also all over the place is ice cream places. Now this pink stuff on top is something they call goof, which is, I'm not sure how to explain it. It's a bit like marshmallow. You need to take it. So an ice cream, a soft ice or an ice cream in a cone with some goof, and this is a traditional, typically Danish thing that you can get, especially the goof. I haven't seen it anywhere else. I'm gonna try and find my way over into there, because I heard that there's like a fort there and some buildings which were old barracks, etc. It's called the Kastellet. So I'm going to try and see whether I can find my way inside there. Looks like this used to be a fountain that's being renovated at the moment. It looks pretty cool actually. I'm pretty sure that when it's full and when it's working, it looks pretty awesome. As you can see, these little coffee places are all over the place. So I'm walking around past the church and following the moat, and I think there's an entrance which I can see over there to the Kastellet. So I'm going to do a quick walk over there. Whilst I'm walking over, just a little chat actually. As you guys know, I'm kind of halfway based in Copenhagen, halfway based in the Netherlands. So this is not my first time here, so it's not a first impressions type of video, but I've been living on and off in Copenhagen, spending a lot of time here for about the past, I don't know, 6.5, 7 years. So I'm trying to take you guys on a trip of what I do in Copenhagen if I was coming over here for a little while. And this time actually I am over for 24 hours. I flew in this morning and I'm heading out tomorrow again. So I wanted to try and do this for you, to show you 24 hours, what I would do and how I would spend it seeing the stuff that I know that's around now. Just entering the Kastellet now, and just through the arches you can see some of the buildings there, which were the old barracks. So this is the Kastellet, and judging by the military guards at the entrance, this is still a working military installation, and I believe that it's still holding some of the offices and admin places and maybe some residences, I'm not sure. You're only allowed to be here during the hours where the Danish flag over there, can you see it, is up and en masse. When they bring it down in the evening, all civilians have to exit, and you're not allowed on the ramparts either. But until that time, in the public areas and on the ramparts, you're allowed to wander around and bicycles around, and photography is allowed in public areas. Let's take a look around. The buildings are actually quite interesting. Don't know whether you can see the colors with the sun. It's like 1:30 in the afternoon, so I'm getting a little limited on time on my 24-hour trek around Copenhagen, or tour around Copenhagen. What I'm going to do now is, as I said, I'm inside the Kastellet, but I'm going to head towards a rampart to see whether I can take a look at what's up there. And have a little bit of a recce round and see what the ramparts are like, and then head off into town again to head towards Amalienborg, where the Queen's residencies are, and to the Marmorkirken, and then off to Torvehallerne to see whether I can get some smørrebrød for lunch. Here we go, up to the ramparts. Looks like there's a little windmill here in the middle of the Kastellet as well. That's interesting, I didn't know that was there. Need to check up and get some history on that to see why and what. I assume it's part of the military installation. So you can walk along the ramparts, they're open to the public, and everything I've done so far actually on this 24-hour excursion of Copenhagen has been free. I haven't paid any admission fees. Apart from the food that I'm eating and drinking, zero at the moment, and of course the metro costs. So we're walking along the ramparts now. I don't know whether you can see. And there, the earthworks around the fort. I'm going to turn you around a bit. And they go in like a star shape, a little bit like an old Dutch fort from what I could tell from the photos on the internet. It's well maintained, and it's nice just to come and have a little bit of a walk around. Of course, if you're here for 24 hours, you don't have much time to explore and do all the stuff that you would normally do, but it's nice to just come for a little bit. And if you have a sandwich or something from a 7-Eleven along with a coffee or something, then you can come, and there's benches you can come and sit and just have lunch here as well. I think from here you can see quite nicely the rows of military bunkers. Heading down off the ramparts and out of the Kastellet and to our next stop. And this is where we were, and this is that star shape that I mentioned, Kastellet. So I'm heading down a road from the Kastellet called Amalienborg, which is, and excuse the pronunciation, which is the road which leads to Amalienborg, which is the quadrangle, where they have the royal residences grouped around that. And that's going to be one stop, and then we're going to head up from there up to the Marmorkirken, and then we're going to take the metro to Torvehallerne. Give you a little bit of a sense of time, how long this has taken. It's coming up to 20 to 2 at the moment. We're just coming up to Amalienborg, and as you can see, it's a huge area. The buildings on all four sides of this huge circle or are royal residences of some form or type, and various members of the royal family of Denmark live in these residences. I'm not sure which is which. There you go. You get a sense of how big it is. Sorry for the sun, guys. You can see all around me the residences of the royal family. And there's a statue there as well, I think of some old king on a horse. The residence or the building directly behind me now has a flag flying atop it, so I'm assuming that means that one of the royal family is in residence currently. And I apologize for the sun, it's that time of day. We're going to head up towards Marmorkirken now and go to the metro there and head off towards Norrport from the metro. So let's turn around and you can see the spire of Marmorkirken just coming up. It looks like there's a museum here as well. 120 krona to get in for adults, and it looks like it's got some type of Fabergé exhibition. There we go, guys. That's Marmorkirken, the church, marble church they call it. You can go inside, I believe. I've never been inside. Let's head on over. I see a little sign there. Let's see whether there's an entrance fee or whether you can just go in. According to this, the church is open for visitors. And off to the metro we go. So I've gotten down at the Norrport metro station, which is the metro station you want if you're going to the Torvehallerne or the food hall, which is a market basically, which has a lot of food there, both fresh food and prepared food. I'm going to go there because they have a good selection of smørrebrød from what I've seen and what I've heard. And last time I tried it, I think, was quite a while back. Few years now. So from the metro station itself you go through a little tunnel which is like this, and that comes out from the steps right outside Torvehallerne. If you take one of the other steps you have to walk above ground, so especially in the winter or if it's raining, this is your best bet, is to get through this little passageway here with all these posters of Torvehallerne and the vegetables and the fruit and the foods. Okay, so coming to the staircase now. Next stop, where the smørrebrød is, then I'll start up again. And here is Torvehallerne. Actually, before we get our smørrebrød, I need to stop at the restrooms. And this is a tip for you. If you're looking for a restroom, of course, a lot of cafes and stuff will have them in restaurants. But if you're stuck, if you come to Torvehallerne, or if you are in Torvehallerne, just across the way from Torvehallerne are the public restrooms. In that building there. All technical operations complete. Let's head to get our smørrebrød. Thank you. So this is Torvehallerne, and there's loads of different places to get stuff. Also fresh oysters here, I see. And you can get oysters with a glass of Prosecco. Fresh fish, which obviously if you're just coming for a day, you're not going to get. So the queue for the smørrebrød here is huge. This is the menu for you guys. If you want to have a look at the smørrebrød, I think I might try the fish fillet. I was considering the roast pork or the salmon salad, but I don't know, maybe the fish fillet. So I managed to get the smørrebrød I wanted from Torvehallerne. There you go. I choose this one in the end, which is a fish fillet. Let's see what it tastes like. Glad the plastic utensils aren't flimsy. It's not bad actually. That's 125 krona for that open sandwich, which comes to, just a second, about 17 euros for an open sandwich. It's good. Is it worth 17 euros? Not sure. So this place in Torvehallerne, Halland's a smørrebrød. They have multiple locations all over Copenhagen and has a good reputation here. Just a little bit of a commentary or review on this one. It's a fried fish fillet, and for my taste, the fried fish fillet is a little oily, or quite oily actually. I think it could have been better. I know a lot of people who come to Copenhagen and are doing videos and are reviewing stuff feel obliged to make it sound nice and fantastic because that's what everybody says about Copenhagen, but I feel that if it's not good, I should say it's not good, and this fish fillet isn't particularly fantastic. Don't get me wrong, I think it's okay to charge 125 kroner, 17 euros for this, but I think if you're charging that much, then I think the quality should be up to that level as well. Finished at Torvehallerne and had done lunch, smørrebrød. Heading now down towards the round tower, down the main pedestrian thoroughway, which goes from Norrport down to Christianshavn or Kongens Nytorv, but I can see the round tower in the distance there. That's our next stop. We're going to have a look inside there and then continue our trip. So my next stop is the round tower, which is a tower built as an astronomical observatory. Let's go inside, let's grab our tickets and go up to the top. I got my tickets, 40 kronas. It's clouded up a bit outside actually, so it's a little bit dark. I had to increase the ISO, so apologies if it's a bit grainy. But this is a astronomical observatory at the very top of this tower. The special thing about it is, I don't know whether you can see behind me, it's got a helical equestrian staircase that was used to take equipment up and down. So you kind of walk along the road up and down. It's quite interesting. And then at the top there's a few stairs to get to a really nice viewing point from what I can tell. Let's go up. So this tower was built in the 17th century by King Christian IV. It's about, I think it's about 38 or some 30 meters, 38 meters, something like that. I'll put the details in the description below. But as you can see, it's a fairly wide helical road that spirals up. I think it's got 7.5 turns if I remember right. And you can hear me panting. It's not too steep, it's not too difficult, and you can take your time going up. Once you get to the top of the helical staircase, there are a few stairs to climb up to get to the viewing platform and the observatory. The last part, if I remember right, is a bit narrow. Yeah, here we go. It's actually a spiral staircase. Once you get to the top, you can walk all the way around the perimeter of the observatory and where the telescope is held, and you can go inside as well. But you get views all the way around, 360 degrees, and quite a nice view, actually. And luckily it hasn't clouded up so much today, so we're getting a really nice, partly cloudy, some blue skies as well. Sometimes the observatory is actually open as well, and you can go and see the telescope. Today looks like it's open. Now for the staircase, the first part of the staircase, because it's really narrow, there's a red light, green light system, and you have to wait until the light turns red. I don't know whether you can see the light there. There you go. Sorry. It's okay. So in summary, I'd say that for 40 kroner, that's fully worth it. That's a little bit more than £5 or €5, should I say. It's fully worth it, I'd say. And it's a nice, it's really nice in here. It feels nice. I don't know what it is about it. Also, attached to the round tower, there's a church, and at the bottom of it, you can see inside the church from one of the windows. I'll show that to you as well. In the summer, this place gets really busy. I think there's a queue for tickets, and up waiting to get to the very top of the viewing tower. There's actually a fairly big queue as well. And for those of you who have a call of nature, there is also some bathrooms here that you can utilize, which are pretty nice actually, clean and quite a number of them, enough for the visitors here. And as promised, at the very end, so this is either as you come up at the very beginning or as you go out at the very end, the view of the church, Trinitatis Church. Okay, onwards and out. As you come out of the tower, the round tower, what you're going to want to do, I wanted to say church, but it's round tower. As you come out of the round tower, what you're going to want to do is grab a hot dog from one of these green stands. They have ecological hot dogs and vegan hot dogs as well. And if you're in Copenhagen, a hot dog is a must.
With all the toppings on?
Yes, please, with all the toppings. Thank you.
So it's going to be 45.
Uh-huh. Thank you. So these hot dog stands, and you get a lot of other hot dog stands as well, but the Hanegal ecological ones have a variety. As you can see, the roasted French with sausage bread. You can choose different types of sausages, chicken, vegetarian. Unfortunately, they don't have vegan, but they do have vegetarian. They've got goat, cheese sausage. You got a number of stuff. And here's my sausage, or my hot dog, Danish hot dog, in front of the round tower. Let's go find a place to sit over there and have the hot dog. Okay, let's see whether I can manage the hot dog and the camera all at the same time. Can you see that? Oh, there goes a pickle. Can you guys see that? That's a Copenhagen Danish hot dog, which you have to try if you're in Copenhagen. Okay, let's try and eat this with the camera. And they are messy. You get them all over yourself. There's a famous hot dog stand, or one which is well known on the tourist trail, which is near the Copenhagen Central Station. I actually prefer these because they have a choice of the the vegetarian or different types of sausages. What you do need to watch out for here are the pigeons, and they are messy. You need to watch it. You can also get them just separately, so like a deconstructed hot dog with all the stuff separately, which is a little easier to eat. A little bit of a pro tip: if you're getting hot dogs, make sure you have wet wipes with you. They are really messy. I just got it all over my jeans and all over myself. The remoulade spills everywhere, and because the bun is small, everything just kind of is piled on top, so it just tumbles off. So do have some wet wipes. So this is part of the pedestrian shopping street, but we're heading down towards Strugat now, and I'm going to head towards Kongens Nytorv and then head back to the accommodation for a little bit of a rest before we go out tonight, and then I'll show you around what I do if I was here for 24 hours in an evening. A little bit of a, not a bar crawl, but just a bar or a wine bar or something. If you continue walking down from the round tower, you'll eventually come to the place where you get the Amalienborg Palace. Now you can go inside. I understand to go up the tower is free, but today I don't think I'm going to have time with just 24 hours. I need to get back and have a little bit of a rest before tonight. But you can go and see this, at least from the outside. And this is the shopping street they call Strugat, which goes all the way down up to Tivoli on the other side. Okay, I'm going to walk towards the Amalienborg Palace and get a little bit of better view there. This is the Amalienborg Palace, and just on the other side of the bridge there, I don't know whether you can see it down there, you probably can't actually, there's some statues there, some sculpture statues inside the water. Right, so that's it for the day portion of this 24-hour tour. Next stop is my accommodation. I'm going to do a bit of a freshen up, I'm going to change for the evening, and then we'll continue with the night portion of my 24 hours in Copenhagen. Metro time! So out in Copenhagen last night, going to find a little bar, get a drink, and maybe something to eat a little bit later on. So Kat's here in Copenhagen. Hi Kat. And I decided to meet her while I'm here for 24 hours on the last night for a drink. This is Burden Church Key, and this is a haunt which I used to go to quite often. It's not as busy as it usually is. So you can see behind me here the lounge at the Burden Church Key. Really is quite nice on the weekend too. Finnish article and an espresso martini. In the summer, this bar is pretty crowded, even though now, in the middle of winter, it's a little empty, and so is everything actually. This is Gammelstrand, and that's Burden Church Key and Pizza Luca, and there's like restaurants and cocktail bars here, and it's quite a nice area actually to come in the evenings. So that's it guys for this 24 hours in Copenhagen. I'm heading back to Amsterdam now. Last night I didn't actually get to do much more than a drink. I got a hot dog. I was really tired, so I didn't get to do the restaurant as I had planned. I met Kat, had that drink, and headed off. If you did like this series of videos, and if you do like my videos, please do give it a like and subscribe. That really helps these videos to get out and about more. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time. By the way, if you guys do feel like a last hot dog before you leave Copenhagen, there's always a hot dog place around. Right, off to the gate.